Camilla, Tominey and Gyles Brandreth have joined us to discuss today's top stories. Can't imagine what we're going to talk about.
Good morning.
Hi, Camilla. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Gyles. Right, OK, well, we've just spoken to Janina Gavankar. You know, obviously, there are allegations flying around all over the place. Welcome to the new era, she says. Is the new era the fact that someone had to leave the palace? We don't know any of this is true, obviously, but because of gross misconduct.
Well, not according to the people I've spoken to, in the sense that I did a massive piece last week about all these bullying allegations and the suggestion that one of the people that accused the couple of bullying, specifically Meghan, had left for gross misconduct was denied to me completely, and that person was considering suing against that claim. Which I think was repeated by Omid Scobie in a piece for Vanity Fair or Harper's Bazaar. So it's quite hard to drill into the detail of this, Phil. You know, one person says one thing, somebody else says the complete opposite.
And yeah, I mean, this is damaging tit for tat, isn't it?
Well, it's so damaging. And also at the end of it, you know, I find it a bit hypocritical, frankly, people coming on and talking about, you know, being kind to Meghan when there are other people in this piece who have felt really, really hard done by. As I keep on stressing, there are always two sides to every story. There are some other people involved in this who have been, frankly, too scared to speak out, who give a completely different account of the couple's time at the palace. OK, as a journalist, we can't ignore that, just as we can't ignore this 2-hour Oprah outpouring. So at the moment, we're all trying to weigh it all up and work out the truth, and we'll continue to do that. But I think what's important here is we don't have either side dominating the narrative and calling it as gospel when the Queen's own statement says, and it was choice words, wasn't it? Just reading it here in the front of the Telegraph, recollections may differ. I think that probably sums it up right now.
Well, Gyles, I mean, the statement from the palace, from the Queen last night that came out, only 61 words, and I imagine they pored over that, trying to think of the right thing to say. And I just wondered what you thought of it.
Well, the Queen is going to be 95 next month. Bless her, having to cope with this at that age. I've descended into my basement book bunker. I'm wearing my flak jacket instead of a jumper because shots are coming from all sides and you're ducking and you're weaving. And the truth is, recollections do vary. For example, Meghan muddled up about being married privately 3 days before her public wedding. Well, the Archbishop of Canterbury remembers that, you know, that blessing a little bit differently. People do have different recollections, and everybody now is climbing on board. You had Janina just now with her little throwing her bomb into the story. We've had Beyonce, President Biden, Hillary Clinton on one side. On the other side, we've had Thomas, Meghan's dad, throwing in his 2 cents worth, and Wendell Pierce, who I think was Meghan's dad in Suits, played it for several years, also thinking it was a bad idea. So everyone wants to have their say, and once you've opened this can of worms, this is what's going to happen.
Well, Camilla, I was going to ask that actually, because in the statement it says that the family will deal with it privately. Can they deal with it privately when it's being discussed so publicly?
They want to deal with it privately, understandably, because it's a family. The pain that we saw clearly on Monday night here, Sunday night in America, anyone who is sensitive will have felt it. You can't have somebody saying that they've been having suicidal thoughts. You can't see Harry looking as distressed as he was looking at times without feeling real sympathy. But it's a family story. They have chosen to bring it into the public domain, and that is the challenge. But from the point of view of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, nobody on the planet has visited more countries around the world and met a more diverse range of people than that couple. And their record, their lifetime, as it were, tells their story. That is their truth. And I think what they would like now is the problems within the family to be discussed within the family.
Well, the trouble is, of course, that they're being discussed in front of millions and millions and millions of people on an Oprah interview that's 2 hours long throughout the world. It's very difficult to do that. I'm sure the family would have liked that, but as we've heard from Janina, you know, they wanted to speak their truth. One of those things, Camilla, was a clip we're going to show you now, and there are these bits that couldn't be included in the documentary that are now being sort of drip-fed out. And this one, which I wanted to ask your opinion on, is about privacy.
If you're at work and you have a photograph of your child on your desk and your coworker says, "Oh my gosh, your kid's so cute, that's fantastic. Can I see your phone so I can see all the pictures of your child?" You go, "No, this is the picture I'm comfortable sharing with you." And then if they double down and say, "No, but you already showed me that one, so you have to show me everything." You know what, I'm just gonna hire someone to sit in front of your house or hide in the bushes and take pictures into your backyard because you've lost your right to privacy because you shared one image with me.
It's a compelling argument, Camilla.
Well, yes, of course it is. And everyone has a right to privacy, even if they're high profile. But the interesting thing is actually royal privacy has never been more respected in recent years. So there's comparisons being made to Princess Diana, who was undoubtedly hounded by the paparazzi. While they were living in Windsor, Harry and Meghan were largely left alone. I mean, there were hardly any patch shots.
What she's talking about is the children here, and that is the case, because I know this even with my own children. I choose not to show my children's faces because I know that's the deal. If you show one photograph, then they're out there. They're for consumption for everybody, which is why I choose not to do it. So in that example, she's right there, isn't she?
But there's a difference between protecting your own family's privacy. She's perfectly entitled, as you are, when you put the kids on Instagram, to have their faces pixelated or not even shown. No one's debating that. No newspaper in Britain, the European magazines might differ, by the way, and even the American press would feature an unauthorized picture of Archie, just as they wouldn't George, Charlotte or Louis. It doesn't happen anymore. It's a difference between protecting privacy and wanting all of the press scrutiny of you to be overwhelmingly positive rather than negative, to attempt to control the media so they only write good stories. That is two different things.
Gyles, there's another clip that dropped last night, which is Harry talking about the Queen. Throughout the documentary, the interview itself, I mean, he referred to her as his commander-in-chief. I mean, he was absolutely rock solid. The Queen was safe. She was compartmentalised in all of this madness, although obviously she can't be. And then he says this.
To then get back on the 6th, after my grandmother had said, the moment you land, come up to...
We asked if we could go up to see her.
Come up to Sandringham. We'd love to have a chat. Come for tea. And why don't you stay for dinner? Because it's going to be a long drive and you're going to be exhausted.
She even said stay the night.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The moment we landed in the UK, I got a message from my private secretary, Fiona, at the time, cutting and pasting a message from the Queen's private secretary, basically saying, please pass on to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex that he cannot come to Norfolk. The Queen is busy. She's busy all week.
After she just invited you?
Yeah.
Just invited me. The Queen's busy. She's busy all week. Do not come up here.
Doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do?
No, when you're head of the firm, there is people around you that give you advice.
Okay.
And what has also made me really sad is some of that advice has been really bad.
So, Gyles, the Queen doesn't get to do what the Queen wants to do, to the extent, allegedly, of saying, after you can come up here and let's have tea and let's have dinner, let's talk about all of this too, I'm busy all week.
Yes. I mean, the Queen is having to do two things at the same time. She's having to be a loving grandmother, which clearly she is. Every single one of these statements from the palace has emphasised that Meghan and Harry and Archie will always be loved members of our family. She's got to do that. And at the same time, she's trying to maintain her role as the head of state. And her experience over many, many years, because she's been doing this since 1952, and before that watched her father do it, is that discretion is the better part of valor. Saying less is the best way to do it. The Victorian idea of letting not daylight in on magic actually has been effective over the years. She is a conservative with a small c person. So she goes by the way it's been done before and doesn't want to stir things up publicly. It's a difficult balancing act. The whole thing is fraught. There aren't any easy answers.
Very, very quick word on that one, Camilla.
Well, I just think that there is a fair case being made here for private secretaries overstepping their remit. Why are they getting involved in the private relationships of the royals? It never used to be like that. Private time was blocked off in the diary. Private secretaries didn't touch it. I've written about this today in my paper. And I think that has contributed to the problem. I do have sympathy with Harry on that one.
Let's end this, please, with talking about Larry, the Downing Street cat, because everybody has fallen foul of putting on a few pounds during lockdown. I can feel a jumper coming on, Gyles.
It's coming up his flak jacket. Here we go.
Larry is 14 years
topic.
old. After a trip to the vet, he's put on 0.5 of a kilogram, likely to too many dreamies, apparently. And they've been asked to reduce these. He's celebrated 10 years of prowling the corridors of power. He's got a clean bill of health, apart from a few pounds. What's your jumper, Gyles?
Well, what's so strange about this? This is my cat receiving the news about Larry. Because we've just been hearing your doctor explain to us that if one person is on a diet, the rest of the family lose weight as well.
True.
And the contrary seems to have been happening here. We know that Boris has managed to lose nearly a stone in weight and is keeping it off, getting new clothes. Meanwhile, Larry has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I don't know what's going on. Rishi is minute, Boris is losing weight, but Larry is putting on the pounds.
Poor
Shock
old
horror.
Larry.
We have to leave it there,
I feel like we fat-shamed Larry here. I feel a bit
don't
guilty.
like that at all.
No,
Don't like
well,
that.
we should stop. Thank you, both of you. Thank you very much.